Closing your eyes and resting your palms on your lap, ideally face up if you can. Calling yourself to yourself, calling all of your energy into your body. In your own mind, you can say, I, and your name, call myself to myself. Say that 3 times as you gather all of your energy. Now grounding your energy down through your feet and into the earth, and all the way into the very core of the earth. And bringing that earth energy back up through your legs, opening your root chakra, your sacral, your hara, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your third eye, your crown, sending that energy up, connecting it all the way up to, through the higher dimensions, through the universe, all the way up to the highest plane, the highest place of source. Inviting your divine presence to create a pillar of light from the highest place of source, down through your higher chakras, through the galaxy, all the way down into your crown, anchoring that divine presence down through your crown, down through your throat, down through your body, down below your root, down into the earth one more time, grounding it down into the earth, into the very core of the earth. Now bringing that earth and that source energy back up your legs, up your feet, up your central column, and into your heart. Taking a deep breath into your heart, opening your heart, and taking a couple more breaths into your heart, deeper and deeper into the very core of your heart. Finding that place where your soul and source meet. In your mind's eye, and visualize there's a platform of light below us and a temple of light surrounding us. The middle of this temple, there's a pillar of light coming from source all the way into the core of the earth. We're calling forth source, our higher selves, the masters, ascended beings, healing teams to be present in this temple space. Writing the Codex of Evolutionary Leadership, and all the frequencies, technologies that we need to support us for our highest and best to be present. And I don't need you to unmute yourself, so you can just say it out loud, and it's fine that you stay muted. So the question is, are you willing to allow Source, the healing teams, and myself permission to work on you on all levels for your highest and best? If this resonates, just say yes out loud to give me permission to facilitate this clearing. And do you give yourself permission to receive what you're here to receive and release what you're here to release? And just say yes out loud. We ask that all distortions and interferences be removed from the temple space in everyone's field, now. So I'm going to invite you to now visualize that there is a pillar of light flowing through your being. That pillar of light is flowing from source through your crown, through your central column, down through your body, and light is beginning to flow through you. And we're going to ask that everyone be placed in an energetic healing chamber, trauma removal chamber, to scan our energy fields specifically to address any trauma that we've picked up in this lifetime. We're going to begin a healing process for this current life trauma that's held in the nervous system, in the spine, on any level of the physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual bodies. If you give permission for this trauma healing to begin, just say yes now. And so visualize now as this white light is flowing through you and you're in this healing chamber, and we're in this temple of light together. And you have connection and access to your higher self. Visualize that we're going back into the moment of conception, the moment that your parents made love, and the moment that the conception point happened, at that moment. And because the quantum reality is all occurring, we have the capacity to re-imprint any moment in the quantum field. That means any time can be re-accessed and recoded in very specific ways. And so we call forth our higher self and our ability to have quantum recoding capacity. I'm inviting you to witness that moment of conception and to bring forth the frequencies of Divine Mother and Father love through the parents into the moment of conception, to make it the most conscious conception possible, bringing forth the frequencies of Divine Mother and Father love to the moment of your conception, so that the pathways of your soul's passage and arrival to these planes along the journey can be as clear, nourishing, fulfilling, inviting as possible. If you give permission for this to occur now, say yes. I'm inviting you to also participate in this process by feeling your higher self, and without getting mental or trying to control or do anything, just witness the love of Divine Mother and Father flowing through into that moment of conception. Even just with that intention in your heart, just allowing it to occur. And we're going to bring in very specific frequencies. And those frequencies are what it feels like from the moment of conception through birth, what it feels like to have a mother and father's love that is completely available, present, awakened, inviting, and deeply inviting and desiring your presence to come to earth. So we're bringing forth the most awakened, clear, loving, nurturing inviting presence of divine mother and father love, having that father and mother's love from the moment of conception through birth, and we're calling that to be imprinted into our subconscious as well as those timelines now. If this resonates, say yes. And we're going to extend that energy all the way from the moment of conception to this moment in time right here. We're going to create a energetic wave of divine mother and father love, and what it feels like to have a mother and a father that are awakened, present, and consistently loving, inviting us to be here, wanting us to be here, loving us, and embracing us here. We're just calling forth what it feels like to receive that kind of love into the subconscious and nervous system now. If this resonates, say yes. And as this energy begins to circulate and flow, we want to track if there's any sometimes when our physical mother and father weren't fully present, or one of them wasn't there, or something occurred, the belief system could feel that either we weren't wanted, we're not meant to be here, I don't want to be here. And so let's track if there's any feelings, imprints in the subconscious that say, my father or my mother didn't want me, I'm not wanted on earth, I'm not supposed to be here, I'm not meant to be here, I shouldn't be here, this is not safe here, this is not loving here, I don't want to be here. Any of these imprints from conception throughout our life that we've either picked up, inherited, or developed ourselves, we want to begin to wash clean, uproot these belief systems, traumas, imprints, and replace them with source perspective now, as well as this new frequency of having inviting, loving, nourishing mother and father love. If this resonates, say yes. And we're showing all aspects of our younger selves that we didn't come to the planet to let external people, places, conditions, and experiences tell us who we are and what we're here to experience or be. We've come to this planet to radiate, give, and co-create from our deepest self who we are and what we've come to do. So we didn't come to get imprinted and receive and absorb all this stuff and let that inform us. No, we came to, from the inside out, give, recode, repattern, and recreate. So we're taking that authorship and we're teaching every aspect of our being that ever unconsciously fell into victimhood, fell into just being the consequence of external reality, and we're giving the power back that actually we are connecting with our original essence and we are coming to recode in every time who we truly are, and we have the capacity to do that on a quantum level. And we're bringing that download and that capacity to every aspect of your being. If you're open to that, say yes. And so once again, we're going to surround the moment of conception and all the way until birth with that divine father and mother's love and that safety. And if there was any energetic absorption of negative energies, while you were in the womb. We ask that those negative energies, those emotional, mental, spiritual, energetics that were absorbed, that didn't serve you, integrating the lessons from those, clearing any karma that allowed that to come in, and just allowing those to be released from that timeline now to have an even greater, safer, more nourishing experience through the womb to birth. This resonates, say yes. And now let's surround the birth experience. No matter what your birth experience was, we're going to recreate new imprints. So first of all, we want to track if there's any trauma from the birth experience, whether it was a natural birth, whether it was a C-section, whether you were pulled out with forceps, whether you don't even know what happened. We're calling forth the healing teams to surround that moment of time and surround you in that time period. And we're asking for a deep core level, soul level healing for any birth traumas that are being carried. If this resonates, say yes. And we are calling forth what it feels like to have a mother's love fully present, aware, awake, inviting, courageous, aligned, and a father's presence fully available, holding sacred space for your birth. And even more than that, we're going to call forth what it feels like to have an entire community of people available and present for your birth. So when you are birthed into the world, you have a whole community celebrating, welcoming you, create a sacred, harmonic, sweet, safe space for you to come into this planet. And if this resonates, say yes. Let's download from source perspective what it feels like to be truly received on earth in the most enlightened, supportive, nourishing way. That you are open to receiving that frequency of being received. You are worthy, you know what it feels like, and we're going to coat the nervous system with what it feels like to be received onto the earth by mother, father, family, and community now. If this resonates, say yes. And so now feeling your connection to the earth, let's download what it feels like to be welcomed and received by the earth herself. That you are loved, seen, supported, welcomed, and received by the earth. That all aspects of you are and welcome now. If you'd like to receive this download, say yes. And so let's scan for any belief systems that say it's safe, it's not safe to be on the earth, it's not safe to be human, There's an error. I'm not meant to be human. I'm not supposed to be human. It's not safe to be here. Let's scan these belief systems and any causal level trauma behind those belief systems, and let's begin to resolve those trauma, replace those belief systems with source perspective now. If this resonates, say yes. Let's download the truth from source perspective about the invulnerability of your authentic self, your spirit. That no matter what has happened, there is nothing that can destroy you or take away your true essence. And therefore, you are truly invulnerable. And from that space of invulnerability, beginning to release the fears of death, pain, fears of demise, or the fears of non-existence, fears of death, from the system and unconscious on all levels now. If this resonates, say yes. Let's pull any belief system, negative beliefs about humans or humanity as a species. Let's get source perspective of how to see and love and embrace humans and humanity from the highest plane of Creator now. If this resonates, say yes. And again, as infinite, powerful beings, we came to embody ourselves as humans for a time period, not to take on the collective of what humanity is, but to express and bring something to humanity from beyond. So let's pierce through any collective energies of enslavement and limitation that are over humanity currently, freeing ourselves from that and choosing the liberation of who we truly are, and integrating that and loving our humanity, and choosing to free our humanity of any collective spells of enslavement or limitation that no longer serve us. If this resonates, say yes. Okay, and so now let's visualize that love when we were born, all that love, having a whole community embrace us. Okay, and let's scan our life from ages 0 to 7. We want to just scan for any specific traumas that may still be in our subconscious that are limiting our expression or our embodiment for those traumas to be brought up energetically, to be integrated on a soul spiritual level, to be integrated, all the lessons from them, all the virtues that came from them, and for those traumas to be released from the system now. If this resonates, say yes. Trusting in this process. Sometimes specific traumas need to be brought up very specifically and unraveled in a sequence, and sometimes the general clearings can just resolve them like that. So we are going to go through a general sweep and get all the ones that are ready to just dissolve in a general level. So open your field to allow any leftover traumas from ages 7 through 14 to be brought up and to be integrated and released from your system now. If this resonates, say yes. If there is any non-me energies, distortions, psychic attacks, external forces, dissonant forces that are connected to these traumas that have inflicted their agenda onto you or somehow have gotten into your field during these time periods, we ask for divine intervention, dispensation, karmic absolution to unweed and remove those beings, their equipment, their probes, their implants, their energies from your system on all levels, across all time and space now. If this resonates, say yes. And so part of the process of liberating ourselves is to release all judgment, hatred, anger, revenge that we or our ancestors hold to any being, any group, no matter what they've done to us. So sometimes the distortion that came into our field can't be fully cleared until we truly forgive and let them go. And so I'm going to invite us to do a divine decree, which is a statement, it's a decree, to free up everyone on a soul level from any of these forces. And so I'm going to invite you to speak out loud. You can stay mute, but speak out loud the following words. By divine decree, under universal law, I, and state your name, your full name, and all aspects of my being, choose to forgive and release all of the karma that I hold connected to all dark forces, negative ETs or multidimensional beings, reptilians, Anunnaki, fallen angels of any kind, demonic forces, satanic forces, Luciferian forces, and all types of dark forces or dissonant forces or contrarian forces or warring forces, as well as any unforgiveness, any vows of revenge, any war bindings, that bind me to any of these beings or groups. I give all of this karma up to Source, and I give Source permission to resolve it all on my behalf. For all aspects of my being, across all time, space, and dimension. Now, and repeat after me. We choose to forgive all beings that have hurt us or our loved ones when we have held this karma. We ask for forgiveness and release from all beings that we have hurt when they have held this karma. And we now choose to forgive ourselves for hurting ourselves or others when we or they have held this karma. We choose to break and revoke all vows, agreements and contracts, oaths, bindings, war feuds, trades, obligations, communalties, blood oaths, ritual sacrifices, and any other kind of agreement or binding that binds us to this karma. It is commanded that this be done now. Thank you, and so it is. So we're calling forth the spirit of forgiveness now, opening our fields. And would you like to receive the highest frequency of forgiveness through spirit to flow through all aspects of your being, to flow through you and to all these beings that have ever hurt you, whether they were human or any other type of being, forgiving all of them while maintaining your boundary and acknowledging and having the right awarenesses, but freeing yourself of the karmas of hurting them, being hurt by them, being in war with them, protecting your people, all that has occurred. We're calling forth a forgiveness and a freedom from these old dynamics of duality, polarity, war, dark versus light, etc., that have entered the field on a deep level to clear, 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 remove on all levels. If this resonates, say yes. We're calling forth an overview from Source to understand the evolutionary purpose of the free will universe, the dark, the light, the battles, the reptilians, everything that's happened, quote unquote, to us individually and as a species, having the overview to teach us and show us what were all the virtues that we needed to learn throughout this process. How can we come into greater acceptance of everything that has occurred, is occurring, and will occur in a way that frees us to be fully liberated and integrated in our wholeness, transcending the duality, transcending the battles, and becoming truly invincible and invulnerable to all of it. If this resonates, say yes. From my perspective, the highest liberation occurs when we can view those who have attacked us, those who have done the most damage to us in this life, and specifically on a soul level, multidimensionally, all types of beings, and understand their role, forgive them completely, love them, and hold one's boundary. So let's integrate all the lessons that we've learned from ever being at war with someone or experiencing power over us or having power over and attacking others. And let's integrate the lessons so we no longer need to play in that game of war and battle, good versus evil, dark versus light, etc. And how to transcend it completely. If this resonates, say yes. Let's track any time that we've made any specific agreement to join any group, religion, spiritual, community, task force, war force. Anytime we've actually made a very strong covenant to join a group in a specific mission that doesn't serve us, that is either still on a mission that isn't in the highest alignment or is still part of this battle, so to speak, let us break and revoke all those vows and agreements to be part of those old groups and those covenants that we've made to come into the highest alignment with our divine will and our sovereign path moving forward with trust and ease now. If this resonates, say yes. And so let's have Source show us on the deepest level that how the force of love wins is not through battle, is not through competition or any of the ways that, you know, in the collective it's still being propagated. Let's have Source show us how love wins, how love it rules, how love evolves, how love takes planets and species into the highest octave of harmony, and how to align with that evolutionary current in a way that we no longer have to stress, push, battle, fear, control, and do all these old things that were imprinted into us. If this resonates, say yes. So this is where the Evolutionary Leadership Codex begins to download into our fields to show us and align us with our highest leadership position. And so let's bring that codex into our fields, and let's go back to where we left off in this process, which is age 14. We brought up the general sweeping from 0 to 14, and let's sweep from age 14 to our current age, and let's bring up any of the traumas from age 14 to our current age that keep us from being fully expressed and embodied. And let's ask for a general clearing to release and heal, dissolve the traumas in any level it's being held, as well as any of the protective mechanisms and belief systems that were created from that trauma to be replaced with source perspective now. If this resonates, say yes. And so let's really overlay from age 14 that leadership codex, what it feels like to be in our power as an evolutionary leader. From that time up to this time, let's coat the timeline with that energy, so that we have a substantial time period in our past of that evolutionary codex building in us a platform of leadership, of power, of presence, and beginning to really inform and integrate into our subconscious and way of being and our personalities the truth of our evolutionary leadership role and position and purpose on this earth. If this resonates, say yes. And so let's call forth from source perspective the ability to access the authentic self. And let's clear any specific collective blocks, personal blocks, ancestral blocks, in the way of your ability to transcend beyond the ego, personality, incarnate identity to access the soul, and even rise beyond the soul dimension into the divine presence dimension of your higher self. Let's remove all those blocks and anything in the way of that now. If this resonates, say yes. Whew. And so let's integrate everything we did in the session today, and let's ground it all the way in. Integrate it on all levels, sealing the work in the highest and best way in all levels of our field, letting it land into our spines, our nervous systems, grounding into the earth. and letting this healing chamber remain with us for the next 24 hours to really integrate this healing work and work on us in our sleep. If you're willing to be worked on your sleep tonight by the healing team, say yes. Calling all of your energy into your body and grounding down. Continuing to relax. And allowing yourself to integrate as I just bring forth a message from my soul for all of you. We've come together at this time, not by coincidence, but by divine alignment. For it's that time to have a quickening of our embodiments, to catalyze the true potential of our soul's purpose and capacities on earth. We each have known evolutionary leadership in our own way, in different timelines. We each have experienced the tragedies and downfalls that are experienced through the dark ages of a species evolution. And we each are now here to rise above, shed the layers, to rekindle and reunite with the potential of our evolutionary leadership on this planet in a way that is light, joyous, and on purpose for each of us individually. Everyone here and everyone listening to this is part of a network of sovereign evolutionary leaders here to embody the frequencies of an evolved humanity. And so we call upon the collective vision of an awakened humanity. We call upon the highest vision of our species thriving on this planet in harmony with all life. We call upon the keys, the codes, the blessings, karmic dispensations, the karmic absolutions and divine dispensations that would support us and our teams to thrive on this planet. We recognize what has been up until this moment has been creations of previous aspects of ourself. And now we have the opportunity to pave an entirely new reality. And so no matter what is the current state of your emotional, mental, financial life affairs, I'm inviting you to step and relax into the awareness that you have the complete choice and capacity to pave an entirely new world for yourself on all levels. And as you step and relax into that divine creatorship, begin to feel what it would feel like to be embodied in your highest expression, to be surrounded by the highest frequency outcomes and effects. Emotionally thriving, mentally in harmony, financially prosperous, fulfilled, and empowering others in your highest frequency and mission. Step into that feeling now. Broadcast it from your heart, from your mind. Feeling the beautiful integration of your higher presence into your mind and heart. Feeling the love of your heart well up into your mind, and feeling your mind open to love. Love with your mind, your reality, and everything in it. Love with your heart. Love with all aspects of your being. Feel gratitude for the love that you are. Feel gratitude for the blessing that you are. Feel gratitude for the blessings that you have around you. Let love and gratitude fill your emotional body. And see the vision of your greatest authentic expression out in the world. Whether that's a book, poem, business, or you simply being you, authentically radiating. See the vision, feel it. Feel the feeling of joy, delight, accomplishment, that your essence and authentic expression is touching others and reaching the people you're meant to reach. And your purpose is being fulfilled. And the frequency of this planet is increasing because you are allowing yourself to be you. And you are in complete harmony and sync. You are in complete sync with all the other evolutionary leaders and the evolutionary timelines and all of the stars. And no matter what kind of planetary alignment there is, what kind of retrograde is going on, everything is in alignment to support your beingness. For you have transcended the need to absorb the distortions of the external world, and you've expanded to an authentic self that radiates and brings alignment and love to all life. Feel yourself immune to the planetary impressions, the collective impressions, the impressions of friends and family and what they think about you. Feel yourself immune and instead choosing to expand your light from inside out, beyond, loving everyone into their alignment, loving the planet, the species, loving the galaxy, loving all the planets into their alignment, loving the universe into alignment, you being the source, you being the great transmitter of multi-universal alignment. no longer receiving externally in a way that tilts you off center, but choosing to emit from that true source frequency within you, your authentic being, so that you are the one who shares the frequency that aligns all into that highest will of creation. Through love, through gratitude, through trust, through compassion, through your frequency. Allow this evolutionary leadership codex to land and integrate into your psyche, into your being, and giving permission for your subconscious mind, in your mind, and all aspects of your being to transform and realign to the highest potential of your embodiment. Letting go of old stories, old identities, with the great open-hearted love and trust in the mystery of who you are becoming and how your life will unfold. Giving thanks, feeling the humility in your heart, thanking life, thanking yourself. Thanking the earth, thanking humanity, thanking all beings, loving all beings, and sealing this work into your field by placing your hands over your heart. And saying, and so it is.